It's official, we are tiling the backsplash, finally. I have talked about doing this project for years and years and just never got around to doing it. And I'm not gonna lie, it was an intimidating project. However, it was actually very easy, and I'm gonna share the entire process with you guys today. But just in case you're new here to my channel, hello, welcome, I'm Carrie Lynn. Here I share budget-friendly home updates, homemaking. I am turning our starter home into our forever home slowly but surely. And over the years, I have shared so many projects. You can actually scroll back and hopefully get lots of inspiration and motivation to tackle your space as well. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's dive right into today's video. Really fast though, I did want to share my last video. A lot went down, so if you missed that video, make sure you check it out. It'll make sense, where we are today. But we took out the cabinet, put that cabinet in the laundry room. I filled all the seams, painted the trim, changed out the light fixture, hung a new shelf, and then this is where we are now. So this will kind of make more sense. So the double-sided adhesive that we are going to use is called Muscle Bound. It's a really known product right now. I feel like a lot of people are using it. A lot of people are raving about it. I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of it, okay? I am going to go ahead and let you know now. We ended up ripping it off the wall. It did not work. But I think I know why. Now looking back and just kind of using the product and kind of knowing a little bit more about it after I shared that it was a fail. So this Muscle Bound is supposedly really, really strong adhesive. And I think the problem is that our walls are textured. It never once said anything about textured walls on the instructions, but I would not recommend if you do not have a flat surface to apply this to. It just does not stick well. And there was no way that it was going to hold these tiles up in place and it not being as sticky to the wall as I expected it to be. So we did get it all in place. Out of everything that we did, sticking this double-sided adhesive to the wall was probably the hardest part, getting it lined up perfectly and making sure that we were high enough and low enough to the granite edge. It was just a pain in the butt, especially the way that my kitchen is shaped. Oh, it was a struggle. But it wouldn't have been a struggle if we would have used it the other way, which later I ended up seeing someone else do, where you actually put the one little section underneath the cabinet at the top and then roll down to the counter, take a razor knife and cut it, and then do another little sections all the way around. That makes more sense. I don't know why we didn't do that. I was like, oh, let's just do it this way. It'll be faster. No, ma'am, it was not. It took us forever. But eventually we got it all in place. And then I'm going to move on to opening up the tile saw. We're going to use that for the first time. And then I'll talk more about why this product did not end up working for us in a little bit. You'll actually see it happening in real time. So let's get into opening the saw. So I needed a tile saw in order to cut the tiles. So I ended up ordering this one. It was pretty cheap for what it is, in my opinion. I've never used a table saw or a tile saw, so we'll see how this goes. I brought out your glasses.
You don't need them though.
Safety first.
It's not.
Safety. Wear your glasses. How do you know you don't need it? What kind of towel was he cutting? Hey, and you know what? That looks legit. You did good. Let's go see if it fits.
Oh, boy. Oh, I love you.
That's my loving. That's my loving. Beautiful. Will that be okay?
Oh, God, did it again, Dad. Might be perfect.
Look at my measurement.
You can get it closer though.
Okay.
You kind of want these ears to catch the tile, but you don't want the screw. But that's fine. I can use a washer and just back these out. Where's that plate at though? You're just gonna make sure the plate's gonna cover it. You might have did a little too much.
Oh no.
That's fine. I'm not gonna use these ones.
Now this is the part where we realized that maybe this was not the best product to use as far as the Muscle Bound goes, because you cannot stick tile to it unless it is 100% dry or it will not adhere properly, which means that the project is going to take a lot longer. And we had never done a tile job, so we were doing cuts as we go. It's not like I measured the wall and figured out cuts. I'm not Like, there's no way. I mean, I probably could, but I've never done a tile job like this before, so we were just kind of laying a piece, and then if we needed to make a cut, I was quickly measuring, making a cut, and then moving on. So in order to get started, we had to dry the tile. I looked up ways to dry it. You could either put it in the oven, which honestly, do your own research. I'm not telling you what to do. This is not a tutorial, by the way. You can either put it in the oven or you can blow dry it. So I tried blow drying it, and it actually got really dry, and I was able to stick the first piece on. But to do this for every single tile that we cut was so time consuming and just not what I wanted to do. And this is the part where I stuck it to the wall, and I realized that our walls are funky. Like, the person who did the drywall in this house, oh my gosh, it was a child, because it is so lumpy and so bumpy. And when I put the tile on the wall, you can't really tell, because that's why they textured it so heavily, to kind of disguise it. But when I put the tile on the wall, it was so wonky that when I pushed the tile, it cracked. So the muscle bound wasn't actually sticking to the entire back side of the tile. Only little sections of the tile were actually getting adhesive. Now, because I am an optimistic person, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a chance and not just, throw in the towel right away. I'm just going to at least try. Although the first tile cracked, which you'll see that in just a second, I wanted to at least give it a chance in another section. I knew that this one side was a little funky and messed up and I would have to fix it, but I wasn't going to let this ruin my day. I'm already off to a horrible start. Fudge. So I moved on. I decided to move over here to this area. Once again, still staying hopeful that this stuff was going to work well. I started adhering all the tiles, and at this point, things seemed okay. I did notice that the tiles felt a little loose, but I was like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll adhere, like give it a little time. And every now and then I would come over and I would press on them to make sure they were still sticking, and everything seemed okay. Until the next day, which that was when I finally had enough, and I realized that every single cut we made, I would have to wait, like, it seemed like an hour before I could stick the tile on the wall. I was like, this ain't gonna work, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the next day where I was baking the tile. Like I'm some tile baker or something. And I just felt like this was so weird to stick these tiles in the oven. I don't know, I just felt like it was something I wasn't supposed to do. It was a long day, to say the least. I'm currently baking the tiles. I read that this is a great way to dry out the ceramic or porcelain tiles, so that way you can use the muscle bound. I will say, I actually do wish that I would have just used thin set. I think it would have been a lot easier than dealing with all the hassle of the muscle bound. Like, don't get me wrong, like it seems like it's a pretty easy thing to use, especially if you don't have a whole lot of outlets or a lot of cuts. But if you have a lot of different cuts, this is probably not the best option, just to be real. But it's already too late. We already got stuck on the wall. Okay. This muscle bound stuff, I've read a ton of great reviews on it, but look at what it's doing on my wall. It comes off so easy, and it's not even damaging anything. I don't see how that's gonna hold up these tiles with grout. I don't know, I don't like it. I already started over here, but I'm gonna go get some thin set because I'm just too worried that I'm gonna do all this work and it's just gonna fall off the wall. And that would be my luck. So we're gonna go get thin set and do it the right way. So yeah, all this is coming down, and look, there's no damage. Like, what the heck? Why didn't this work on my wall? I want to like believe in this product, because everybody loves it, it seems like, but in my case, it was a fail, 100% fail, waste of money. It wasn't really a waste. I actually returned it to Lowe's. I told them what happened and they did refund me, thank goodness. So very grateful for that. They didn't have to do that. I told her, I said, look, I don't expect a refund. I said, I just figured I would ask. Doesn't hurt to ask. This product did not work on my walls. I did use some of it. Yada, yada, yada. She was like, oh yeah, no problem. She's like, oh my gosh, it's $40-some. I was like, yes, that's why I was trying to return it. And she's like, oh yeah, no problem at all. Can you open this for me?
I need my Hershey's in the fridge. Get my ranch.
So strong.
Yeah, girl. Never read
I did.
Stop, because now that irritates me. I could have done it. I could have done it. You done irritated me now. He knew that was going to make me mad when he said that, so that's why he said it. It was just a joke, Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the thin set. I did decide to go with the pre-mixed thin set because there ain't no way I'm about to mix this outside and get it right. I already know that, so I was like, oh, let's just buy it pre-mixed, and I went to town. I don't know what I'm doing. So it was one of those things where I just like dove right in. I was like, I'll figure it out as I go. I did end up sticking the wrong tile on first. Dylan's like, you should have started out the other way and then worked your way this way. I messed up. So I was just like, oh crap, what am I going to do? Because it's drying so fast. And I just moved quick. Like I said, this is a little funky right here, but it's fine. After I got these set, the rest were smooth sailing. I kind of figured out a good rhythm. I will go ahead and say I will have the description of the tile in the description box, or I'll link it below for you guys if you're interested, just to make it easier on both of us. She ain't going nowhere.
Where you going? Nowhere.
Wow. My dump. I could have had this towel drop done yesterday. But instead,
I'm like, ew, let's do this, because everybody else is using it.
so annoying. I wanted to quickly explain why I'm working in such weird sections. That is because this wall is so messed up. If you watched earlier, you saw where I cracked the tile on accident because the wall is so bowed. So here I'm actually adding some of the thin set a little thicker in some areas, also adding it to the back of the tile so that way it lays as straight as possible. I didn't realize how messed up this wall was until I started tiling. So I just had to kind of wing it, and that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. It is a lot easier if you have a flat wall and you just obviously put the thin set over the whole wall and then start setting your tiles whenever they're all cut. It makes it so much faster. But either way, this went by really quick. I also wanted to point out the shelf is a little high. I will be lowering that. I originally hung it up just to have it there so it wasn't so plain for a little bit because I didn't know how quickly I was going to pick out a tile. And then whenever all the tile work is done, I'm actually going to lower that shelf and then add an additional one. But anyway, let's get some tiling done. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to mention. I know I talked about I would put the description of the tile down below. I will also let you guys know the grout that I used too. I did use pure white. And then, yes, baby, you need to find your gi and stuff. Anyway, I'm just trying to say I will link all the products I used down below. Also, a quick hack, if you're cutting around outlets, for some reason, none of the pencil, permanent marker, anything the lines wouldn't stay. As soon as I turned the wet saw on, all the markings would disappear and I didn't know what I was cutting. So after I marked it, I ended up taking some masking tape and taping out my lines. That way when I used the tile cutter, I could see where I was cutting and the tape doesn't come off. So in case you needed that little tip, it worked like a charm. This is the part where I was pulling off the tiles that were adhered to the wall with the muscle bound, and I was so thankful I decided not to use that stuff. I'm so glad I trusted my gut. I knew it was going to fall off, and sure enough, as soon as I pulled one of the tiles, like just slightly loose, all of them came off within a second. Like they popped right off like nothing. Okay, it's time to grout. I am using this ready-to-use grout. It is in the color bright white, and I have me a grout float and a sponge to wipe it off. So I'm just gonna start here and work my way around. I am gonna go ahead and take this off just so I don't get grout all over it. I had to mute this part because whenever I was using this grout float, it was like squeaking so loud. It was the most annoying sound ever, but this is so satisfying. This is where it really starts to all come together. The tile starts to blend together real nicely. I loved how it started to look. And honestly, looking at like the background, in the background where the stove is, the dark lines don't look bad. So if you wanted to use a darker grout with this tile, that's totally an option too. I wanted it to be as pretty and just simple and clean as possible. So that's why I decided to go with the white grout. Also, when I was actually putting the tiles in place, I did not follow the box pattern. The box pattern actually on the back of the tiles, it'll say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So where you lay them a certain way. I did not follow that pattern. I actually flipped the tiles over and mixed boxes together because I wanted a specific design. And so as I went, I placed each tile strategically. So that way the lines were not zebra-like. I did not want like crazy stripes. I wanted it to go different directions and look very natural. So that's why it took me a little bit longer to actually tile the backsplash. I just wanted to mention that. So just be mindful when you are laying the tile of like where the lines, which way they're going, and it'll look really good. As soon as I'm done grouting, I immediately wipe away. I feel like this is the easiest and best way to make it as clean as possible. If you let the grout dry for too long, it is a nightmare to scrub clean. So I dampen the sponge. It's not soaking wet by any means. I just barely wet it. And then I just scrub over the grout lines and it picks up just enough grout, leave some behind. If you need to go in and add a little extra, like if you accidentally wipe it away, don't panic. You can always add more. It's really hard to scrub off if you let it dry for too long. So I've done this before. Actually, as a matter of fact, this used to be our job as kids. When my parents used to lay tile, we would help scrub the grout clean. And I'll never forget this. It was terrible. My dad actually laid all the tile floor in the blood net at the time, and it was like these massive squared tiles, and we were all on our hands and knees scrubbing with sponges. It was a lot of work, but we did what we had to do to help our parents out at that time. And that's the one thing I do remember about tile work is the grout. All the grouting is done. Dylan's gonna go ahead and add all the outlets. Well, he's gonna pull them out and add the plate covers. What am I trying to say? Girl, are you okay? He's fixing the outlets or whatever the heck they're called, the switches. And at this point, I did not take the tile all the way up and around the window. I was going to originally, but I decided to stop here, live with it for a little bit and see if I liked it before I continue. However, when I did add the second shelf, the way that I ended up measuring out where to put the second shelf is based off the size of the tile. So that is why I put it where I put it. That way, if I do decide to go up and around, the tile will fit perfectly even in between each each shelf, and I won't have to make a ton of crazy cuts. So that is why I put it where I put it. It probably could have went up a hair higher, but then I would have had a tiny sliver of tile, and that's not what I wanted. So just pay attention if you are tiling your backsplash on where you end up putting your floating shelves. Also, let me know in the comments below what you think. Should I go ahead and take the tile up and around or leave it? However, if I go up and around the window, I feel like I need to go up and around the door because I know for a fact I will not like how it cuts off. But then again, I did put my curtains back up because at like certain times of the day, the sun is shining in so bright, and sometimes I just need like it to be a little softer in the house. So I did end up adding my curtains. So who knows, maybe the tile being cut off at the top won't bother me so much because the curtain kind of blocks where that line would be. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anyway, I went ahead and filled all the seams here to make it look all seamless and perfect, and then I'll give you guys an overview. The backsplash is done. I think it turned out incredible. You'll have to stay tuned to see the shelving go up and like decorated and all that. I wanted to share that video separately because I went shopping and picked out some new things, and I want to share a haul on the stuff that I got and the reason I bought it and all that good stuff. So it's a really affordable decorate with me, but I think it turned out amazing. I love the marble with the granite. I know some people were like, don't do it, there's too many patterns, but I think that this is just subtle enough where it gives some charm and character, but it doesn't take away or like compete too much with the granite in my opinion. I think it flows real nice. And if you look up close, there's actually like brown tones in here. So it pulls all the wood tones together throughout the house and all the, you know, warm tones that I have while still keeping it light and bright, which is what I wanted. So I decided to go with the Subway style stacking so that way it stays timeless just in case marble does go out, but I don't think it will. I love marble anything. So it's just expensive. So I went with the ceramic tiles that have the marble look, and yeah, I think it turned out stunning. Y'all will have to let me know what you think. I am obsessed with the kitchen now. I think it just looks complete finally after all these years. So yeah, I'm so excited. That's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. It means the world to me. I truly would not be able to make these videos if it wasn't for your support. So for that, I'm forever grateful. Please take a quick moment, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see all of you guys in just a couple days with a brand new video. And in that one, we are going to be decorating. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, y'all.